So I'm just going to quickly show you how to press, what direction you should be pressing the seams in for the bodice. Dead easy. As a rough rule of thumb, if you have any kind of overarm or shoulder seam, you always press it to the back. Truthfully, I don't know why. I've just always been taught to do that, and I've always done it, and it kind of works. So the sleeve seam is pressed towards the back. Now, these ones here, these seams here, they're the ones that are going to sit right there, that bit there. You want those to go up into the body like that. They just work better that way, I promise you. So I'm just going to very briefly give them a quick zhuzh. I have to say I do love a steam iron, I really do. You can get a good zhuzh going. And the same with this one. Obviously I wouldn't normally be pressing on a towel on my dining room table. Normally I use an ironing board, but we just don't have the room to film where the ironing board is set up, so I'm afraid you're stuck with our fast and dirty way of doing it. So let's do the other side now. I'm hoping the lovely Jeremy's got this in shot. Is it in shot? Fabulous. He's very good, you know.
For his age, he's 73, you know.
He's worn ever so well, you'd never know. Really. Okay, so our bodice is kind of prepared now, it's kind of ready to rock. And we're just going to do the same thing with the skirt pieces, just press the seams on the sides, and again I'm going to press both of them towards the back. Like I say, I have no idea why I do that. I've just been taught that way and I just stick to it, so I'm sure there's some very, very important reasons, so let's just follow it, shall we? Okay, so now we've got to the stage where we're going to join our neckband to the neckline of our bodice. And this is the bit that people get a little bit freaked out by, but I promise you, you don't need to. If you follow what I'm doing, you will have success, I guarantee it. It's actually a lot easier than you think. Now, the secret to putting on stretchy kind of trims onto necklines and sleeves and stuff is that you've got to get them equally kind of spread out. And we like to call it quartering up, which means you fold it into four. If you were in a design room and you said, oh, I'm just going to go and quarter this up, people would know what you meant. You're going to fold it into four and match the fours up. So the neckline is going to be divided into four, and this is going to be divided into four. And here is how you do it. You've got it folded like this, and you've got your seam to your seam, and that's one point, okay? That's your first point. I'm not sure if you can hear a little dog woofing in the background. He's furious at not being allowed to come and play. Absolutely livid, but I'm sure he'll live with it. Okay, now, when I was cutting this out, I cunningly put my notches in. I kind of snipped where the halfway point was. Can you see that, Jeremy? If I show you there, if I spread that out, can you see that little notch? I'm not sure if you can.
No,
it's right there.
I
see
gotcha.
that little chop there?
Gotcha.
That's my notch, okay? That's my halfway point. Now, I'm going to put another pin there. Again, in industry, not many pins are used, but we don't care, because if we want to use them, we're going to use them. Now, if you come right in close to my hands, Jeremy, okay, you'll see I'm going to put this pin, the centre notch, to the seam, and I'm going to get a quarter. That's my other quarter. It's my quarter fold. I'm going to put another pin in here on the fold, like this. And I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So we've got, this is on the edge, your centre front and your seam are here, and then it goes out to another quarter here. Okay, so far, so easy. Anyone can fold things into a quarter. I think even our puppy could do it. Okay, so that's your neckband is quartered up. It's divided into four equal sized pieces. Now you're going to do the same thing on the neckline. Let's have a look down here. And as it happens, this is actually kind of done for you already. I've put a little notch in the centre back. Can you see that?
We got it.
Okay, and a matching notch, oh look, in the centre front. Fabulous. So we've got two notches there, and because this is a raglan sleeve, we're going to match our other quarter points are this seam here, the overarm seam, and on the other side the same thing, the overarm seam. So we're kind of quartered up already. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to start at the centre back. Our seam is going to match this centre back notch here. Now please bear in mind that it can actually match another seam if you want, but this is the easiest way to do it, I promise you, and we're all about doing it easy. So we're pinning through all thicknesses. That's this folded piece, that piece, and that piece. So you're going to have through three thicknesses. The seam is matching to the centre there. Now, then we're going to match the other one, the opposite one, to the centre front, and the side ones to the overarm seam. Now, please bear in mind that if you want to do more quartering up, so you divide it into 8 or fold it into 16ths, whatever, please go ahead and do that. Whatever is going to make your life easier and simpler, then that's what you should do. And obviously a seamstress doing this in a factory wouldn't even do that. She'll just do it by eye, but of course she does that all day every day, so she knows what she's doing. Now if you look at this, if I pull this up like this, you will see it looks appalling. It looks really horrible. It looks like you're going to have this horrible kind of gathered thing here, but you're not. Don't worry about this seam. This is the edge. It's actually going to give you the look on the garment. So here's what you're going to do. Okay, watch me. Can you see this, Jeremy? Shall I flick this out of the way?
I've got it right.
You got it there?
Right.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so watch. When you do this and you really stretch your neckline rib, which is this piece, it will meet that. You don't stretch the bottom bit. If it stretches a little bit, it's not the end of the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly kind of quarter it up again. Look, like that. I will be doing it again so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So that's going to meet that really nicely. Now let me show you how I do it again. This is the real quick and dirty way of quartering up. Okay, watch. It's already pinned at the quarter mark. Okay, you just hold it so it's kind of equidistant and pull it together like that. Easiest thing in the world. And you know, if you've even just sewn a straight seam, you can totally do this. I have absolute faith in you. I know you're going to do it, and I know the results are going to be fantastic. You'll be so happy you've done it. And really, I promise you, you'll be running off and making gazillions of these. And this neckband treatment you can do on, this is the way you do it on pretty much any neckband. Okay, now, let me unfold this for you. Okay, now that looks, let's be brutally frank, really, 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 really horrible. But it's not going to look horrible when it's done. Oh, no, no, no. What's going to happen is, this will stretch out like this, and this will lay flat against your neck. And the key is, if it's really easy to get this rib on, warning, your rib is too big. Okay, so you may want to try for the first few times to actually pin it all the way around, really, you know, really tight so you see where it is. If you get it and you put it on the stand and you've got this kind of shape, this kind of funnel shape like this, your rib's too big. But you can only really do it by testing and adjusting. Okay, don't be scared to kind of pin it on and fiddle around with it. Once you've made a few of these, you'll get your eye in, it'll suddenly click, and you'll know just by feeling and stretching your fabric how easy it is. Unfortunately, there's no real formula for it. I can't say to you, if you cut this much, it will work. You have to kind of go with what your fabric is. But I promise you, a couple of goes of this, you'll be doing it in your sleep. Okay, now we're going to attach the neckline. Okay, here we are attaching the neckband to the neckline of the garment. Easiest thing you can imagine. Once you do it, you'll wonder why you were ever worried about it. But it's kind of like anything, you know, once you know what to do, it's like, oh, okay, it's easy. When you don't know what to do, it can be really intimidating. So I really want to make this not intimidating and very, very easy for you to do. So I'm going to start with the centre back, just about an inch or so before the centre back. And I'm sewing it with the garment underneath and the rib on top like that. This is the easiest way to do it. And like I keep saying, I'm all about being the easiest way. All right, so I'm pulling this out, and off we go. Now, you don't have to kind of just junk this through really quickly. Kind of take your time and make sure that everything's sitting as it should. You know, all your pins are matching up, everything's stretching, you know, properly. You haven't got big baggy bits, you haven't missed any bits. Nothing's kind of misbehaving. So I'm just pulling the rib, but I'm not, under any circumstances, pulling the underneath fabric.
Not pulling what, sorry?
I'm sorry, I'm sure you didn't hear me, this is so noisy. I'm not pulling the underneath fabric, I'm not pulling that at all. I'm pulling the rib neckline trim at the top. Actually, I should point out, you know, this is, strictly speaking, this trim isn't actually rib, not proper rib, it's actually a waffle knit. It's just very, very stretchy. It's the same knit as I'm making the garment out of, and you can do this. As long as your knit kind of bounces nicely, you're good, really. I mean, you can do it. And if you're at all worried, do a little sample, cut a little piece, do a little bit of rib trim, and just see if it kind of, you know, works really well for you. And it's a really easy thing to do. It means you don't have to worry about getting matching fabric and rib knit. And I bet suspect most of our customers thought that I had a little team of kind of seamstresses beavering away. No, 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 no. When I make samples, I make them. So I have to know that they work and I know that they go together, and they do. This one certainly does. I'm sorry this is so noisy, but it is a very good overlap. Quite old, but rather fabulous. Not unlike myself.